Brought to you by Penguin.
The Bass Rock by Evie Wyld. Read by Julie Graham, Ross Anderson and Kirsty Strain. I was 6, and just the two of us, my mother and I, took Bowie for a walk along the beach where she and Dad grew up. The shore, a mix of black rock and pale, cold sand. It was always cold. Even in summer we wore wool jumpers and our noses ran and became scorched with wiping on our sleeves. But this was November, and the wind made the dog walk close to us, her ears flat, her eyes squinted. I could see the top layer of sand skittering away, so that it looked like a giant bedsheet billowing. We were looking for cowrie shells amongst the debris of the tide line. I had 2 digging into my palm, white like the throat of a herring gull. My mother had a keener eye and held 6. I felt the pull of victory, slackening. Resting in a rock pool was a black suitcase, bulging at the sides. The zip had split, with the teeth no longer held together. I saw 2 fingers tipped with red nails and 1 grey knuckle where a 3rd finger should have been. The stump of the finger, like the miniature plaster ham I had from my doll's house. The colour had been sucked from the knuckle by seawater, leaving just a cool grey and the white of the bone. It was the bone, I suppose, that made it so much like the tiny ham. I moved my arm to swat something away from my face, and as I did, flies rose from the suitcase in a cloud, thick and heavy. Behind me, my mother, "Another one," she called. "I found another one." And then the smell, like a dead cat in the chimney in summer. A smell so tall and so broad that you can't see over or around it. My mother walked up behind me. "What's—" I kept looking at the fingers and trying to understand, my mother pulling me by the arm. Come away," she said, and spitting over and over onto the sand. "Don't look, come away." But the more I looked, the more I saw, and peeking through the gaps between the white fingers was an eye that seemed to look back at me, that seemed to know something about me, and to ask a question and give an answer. In the memory, which is a child's memory and unreliable, the eye blinks. The Lamb. 1. The small supermarket in Musselburgh is open until 10 p.m, and the staff look offended by me as I walk in at 9:35. I imagine how I must appear after 8 hours in the car. I splash my face with water in a service station near Durham, and my hair has dried strangely. I am unkempt enough to present as a shoplifter. I have parked towards the back of the supermarket by the cash machines to remind myself to get some on the way out, because the shops nearer the house prefer not to accept cards. I spend a long time at the herbs. There's fresh ginger and the chilies, and I wonder how I would go about making something with them. I put some lemon thyme in my trolley instead. Perhaps I will roast a chicken tomorrow, or a couple of thighs. I'm not a good cook. I like thighs because when I forget them, they don't dry out. I always overdo it on the fruit, but it's hard not to feel excited. They all have different colours of plums from Kenya: yellow, orange, purple, red and black, and I put a carton of each in my trolley. That's 30 plums for me to eat in a week, which is only a little over 4 a day, and feels like something I could accomplish. 2 in the morning, 2 at night. If I were the kind of person who could preserve things, I'd preserve a jar of each variety and just have them to look at. But they would grow a film of mould, like the time I made chili olive oil and the bottle went black. I am missing some fundamental element of preservation. I suspect it's cleanliness. I move on, and though I try to think of something new and interesting to cook, by the time I get to the frozen aisle, I have spaghetti, tinned tomatoes.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?